In the 1950s, the musical West Side Story depicted a gang war between whites and Puerto Ricans on New York's Upper West Side. In the 60s, reports of gang warfare diminished. Today, in the 70s, most street violence appears to be committed by individuals, not roving gangs. But on the West Coast, gang warfare has never stopped. Today, it is more violent and widespread than ever. Who is fighting who? Americans of Mexican heritage are fighting each other, and embarrassed community leaders have been unable to stop it. What's more, it is spreading in California and the Southwest. Warring gangs like the ones we found in East Los Angeles.
I got shot through this side, and it came out through this side. And it messed up my bone and my veins. I can't even walk the streets now because if you're gonna walk the streets, you're gonna carry something with you. I don't think, that I'll live to see 23.
You gotta fight for your barrio. Sometimes you gotta kill for your barrio, just to keep up your reputation.
Barrio means neighborhood, and it is for this, the reputation of the neighborhood, that they are ready to kill and willing to die. Gang members bear permanent insignias, tattoos proclaiming where they're from and what they stand for. As nations carry flags, gangs paint their names on walls. Lotte, Little Valley. You know gangs are feuding when their names get crossed out.
Usually it starts by, crossing out mostly. One neighborhood will put their barrio on the wall, and then, we come in right next to it or cross them out, and they'll cross us back out, and then it gets into, maybe a fist fight, and then maybe guys will get knifed behind it, and then shooting, and then someone dies, and, they might want to get back at us. If they do get back at us, we go down and might kill 2 of them. Then they'll come back and maybe get 1 of us, and we'll go back and get 2 or 3 more. And it just goes on and on. Don't stop.
2 enemies who have been going on and on for generations are El Lojo Moravia and Garrity Loma.
That says our barrio, and that says where we stand between all the barrios. That's the name of our barrio, and that's what number we are between all the barrios. We're number 1 from all the barrios. Barrios do things to us, but we always come out on top. Like, we get 4 or 5 guys for every one that they get of us. And we get them worse, Either we put them in the ground or, we make them remember that not to come up here. They think twice before coming up here. And this is where we are with a shotgun, always ready.
Its claim to be numero uno embroils Garrity in feuds with many gangs. And just as their enemies do, they show off their scars the way war veterans display Purple Hearts.
Yeah, I got shot in the heart. And these are other scars that I've had from other neighborhood fightings and a lot of stuff that I've been through.
They don't use their real names, but street names. That's Samson, Smiley, Mousy, and Happy.
I got a 32 automatic carrier with me all the time, and just take care of myself because you never know when some car's gonna come up and just shoot you on sight.
Only a few blocks away is arch-enemy El Ojo, and one of its leaders is Babe.
How did the feud with Garrity begin?
Oh, this is way back in my father's times. My father was a member from El Ojo too. He was from the cut-downs from El Ojo. Back in his days, they were fighting with Garrity.
Why?
To tell you the truth, I really don't know why, but, the feud is still going.
No one, old or young, could tell us how the feud began. But it keeps going because the Chicanos stay segregated. And here, the macho ethic is blood real. The slightest insult demands revenge.
We fight for what we know. We fight for our dirt. This is our dirt. This is where we were born and raised, grew up with each other. We went to from kindergarten all the way up to high schools and everything together. And, somebody gets, you lose a homeboy, it hurts you.
Is it like losing a piece of yourself?
Yeah, it's like losing a part of you. Like losing a finger or a leg or an arm or an eye.
Certainly no one wants to be overly dramatic about it or glorify it, but to be a gang member is to be a soldier in a guerrilla war. For those who fight it, a war no less dangerous and bloody than World War II or Vietnam. There is no one enemy, but several. And these enemies are not in some distant land or faraway stronghold. They're across the street, down the road, up the hill, around the corner, all around. There are a few pitched battles, ritualized combat with large forces in darkened schoolyards and parks, but mostly it is nighttime bushwhacking and ambushing. The enemy streaking by in cars, guns blazing, or taking careful aim from some secure vantage point, or leaping from hiding places with knives, boards, and chains.
Gang veterans have long prison records. As youngsters, it's usually for fighting and petty thefts. As they get older, it's attempted murder and grand larceny. And more, the crimes are committed not for the gang's honor, but for organized crime and for personal profit. In jails, steel bars don't stop gang warfare. Outside, steel plates offer some protection to the Lagunas family. All 8 sons are in the El Ojo gang, and their home is a favored target.
Is that quarter-inch steel plate?
Yeah, that stops the bullets.
They don't even make a dent or scratch on them.
They just bounce off like flies.
But steel didn't prevent Peter from being blinded when he was 13.
They just came to the driveway, to the parking lot, and they just started shooting.
Blindness has neither stopped Peter from fighting nor being arrested. He still likes to use a knife. Peter says he slashes wildly at whomever is nearby. Police say his buddies hold the target, so he can't miss. What makes Peter different is that he uses only a knife. Most others prefer guns.
Careful, babe. They're not loaded, I hope.
In East Los Angeles, where gang wars flare the most, police picked up 108 handguns, shotguns, and rifles during the first 9 months of this year. Many gang incidents go unreported. Innocent victims fear retaliation. Gang members seek their own revenge.
You know who shot you? Yeah. Who is it? Lotte.
Yeah. The gangs usually like to take credit for their shootings, and they'll often yell out the gang name and even the shooter's nickname. But we have trouble on the prosecution end. When we get to court, they just refuse to testify.
There are an estimated 100 gangs and 22,000 gang members in Los Angeles. Last year, there were at least 168 gang-related homicides. Now, Los Angeles is not the only place. Look at ghettos in big cities and you'll find other gangs. White gangs, black gangs, Chinese gangs, among others. But those gangs come and go. Here, it is perpetual.
Look, why don't you go in the hospital and sit down?
For A1. Why can't I go home?
Why can't you, with a bullet in your back?
Yeah, why not?
Well, it may kill you.
So what?
Officer McBride, what about this attitude of the gang members? What they tell me, we're Robin Hoods.
That's not true. I like to forget the Robin and just call them hoods because that's what they are. They terrorize the community. They rob people in the community.
Deputy Wes McBride helps run the sheriff's gang unit.
Many times the victim of the gang killing isn't a gang member. He may be an innocent bystander that's hit by a round fired at a gang member or mistaken for a gang member. There's nothing romantic about the gang member. Middle-class Mexican Americans are embarrassed by their gangs and wish all attention was paid to the proud accomplishments of their community's majority. But the fact is that at least 1 out of every 10 local youths and many adults belong to gangs, despite the efforts by community groups and social service agencies to stop gang warfare. And what are the conditions that breed Chicano violence? The percentage of Mexican Americans having less than 5 years schooling is 4 times the national average. Last year, 1 in 5 families of Spanish origin had incomes below the poverty level, while the rest of the population had less than 1 in 10. Their small homes are overcrowded, the people unemployed. Youngsters have nothing to do but hang out. The Catholic Church is one place they turn to for help, and Brother Modesto is a cleric whom they trust.
Why do we have brother against brother? Because they're frustrated. Maybe he doesn't have a job, maybe his school, he got kicked out, maybe he doesn't have any way to communicate, except that he feels good because the neighborhood will kind of help him, back him up if he's doing this thing. You know, we belong to clubs and things that make us feel good, but some of these kids don't have any of that, and so it's recognition.
The same conditions existing for young men exist for young women, and some of them have gangs of their own.
When you know that you're going to kick their ass, it's fun. When you know you're going to get your ass kicked, then it's fun after when you know that somebody's there to back you up and going to kick their ass.
I know I'm gonna die of getting shot. I know I am. Because I used to tell God that I hope I don't die, but you know, if you say that, you're gonna die of that.
I think everybody's got a fear when they come to fighting, but it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't bother me as much. I mean, I can die, and I don't really care.
Like young men, young women have lengthy arrest records. Like men, they wish to appear tough, talk tough, be tough.
On this front, outside of me, I carried a tough attitude, that I was rough and tough. I never cried, that I was tough, and I could make it like that. But inside, I carried fear.
Ruth Sanchez joined the White Fence Gang when she was 11. She took us to her old stomping ground, under the freeway.
When I would see other girls cut and bleeding or laying on the ground, I would feel pity for them, but I couldn't show it. So not to show pity, and I would show this toughness, I would walk by them and give them a swift kick. You know, and tell my homies, you see how tough? Hey, nobody can down us. We're number one. And we were fighting to be number one, meaning like when anybody around here would hear, here comes the girls from White Fence, they would tremble in fear and move aside. When we walked down the street, people moved off the street.
It's not that easy to leave your gang. Stay in the neighborhood, and you're an outcast. Move away, and there you're an outsider.
When did you first say to yourself, I want out? I don't want anything more to do with gangs, and I've got to get out?
My children were already born. 4 of my children were born, and I had just came out of the prison. And I was running with another girl that was like me. She was tough, and I really liked her a lot. And she had 5 children, just like I do now. And she says, you know, my son is not in the gang. I says, no. And she says, no, my son's the leader of the gang. I said, oh, wow, that's beautiful. You're raising your kids good. And some months passed. I hadn't seen her in quite a while. And she gave me a call one day, and she says, you know, Ruth, my son just killed a cop. And you know, her next words to me threw me. Her words were, you know, I'm gonna get him the best lawyers, the best. And I thought about it, and I says, you know, I don't want to get the best lawyers for my kids. I don't want to sit in courtrooms. I've been in them, God, from the time I can remember. I don't want my kids raised like that. So I changed a lot my attitude towards how Ruth was going to raise her children. And that's how the time it came to change.
Because of her long prison record, the best job Sanchez can get is washing windows. But she considers herself lucky because none of her children is in a gang, and she was able to get out of the old neighborhood, find something better to live for. She's the exception.
It's your neighborhood that you care for the most. I don't even look up to my own wife. I mean, we don't communicate as much as I communicate with my friends. Because I want my friends, and my friends is what I want, and that's what I want, and that's what I'm gonna get, and that's who I'm gonna be with all the time. And as long as I can have one hand, but I got the other hand, I'll always use this other hand. At least I got my fingers to pull the next trigger.
After we had packed up our camera gear and were leaving, we saw this scene and stopped to film it. We saw Happy taking target practice, not with the gun he had displayed earlier, but with a pellet gun. Suddenly, we heard the shots of a real gun.
Happy. Oh shit, I shot myself, Holmes. Shot myself. Get out of here, Holmes. I shot myself.
What, eh?
Shot himself. Come on, take me to the hospital.
Call up an ambulance.
Hey, here, throw the pellets in it.
Happy's gun was in his belt when he accidentally pulled the trigger. The bullet went in his stomach, out his back. Minutes afterward, we raced him to a hospital where he recovered. Happy now has 2 more holes to show off. The Chicanos kill only each other, so outsiders don't really care. And what worries these people is that gangs are not decreasing, but spreading, erupting outside Los Angeles and other sections of California, in New Mexico, Texas, elsewhere.
Our barrio is like our country, our own little country. We fight for our dirt.
Nothing has changed, and the old have little to pass on to their children but tradition.
When I grow up, I'm gonna be like them. Be like them because every time they jump our friends, so we jump them.
They don't have to be initiated or nothing. They're raised, they're a product of Garrity.
It's part of living.
Right on.
Be like them.
I'd like to show you.
This story is about a different breed of highway robber. He carries no gun, wears no mask, just the coveralls and familiar cap of the service station attendant. These hold-up men deal in phony auto repair and work out of gas stations along freeways and toll roads going north, south, east, or west. It doesn't matter. Wherever the tourist traffic is the heaviest is where you'll find them. Let's say you're on vacation.
To get to where you want to go on that vacation, you'll probably be driving on an interstate. And what you'll be caring about is getting there, quickly and safely. If something goes wrong with your car, you'll be at the trust and mercy of the man running the gas station at the nearest exit. Can you trust him? Listen to one expert who agreed to speak with us only if he remained unidentified. We'll call him John. John used to run gas stations along an interstate in the Southwest. He wasn't the only one who told us that stations like the ones he ran pay high rents, don't depend on repeat business, and make their biggest profits not on gasoline, but on accessories. So, as he once did, some station operators, he says, cheat tourists just to survive.
How widespread is it?
Nationwide, it really is.
Is it?
Yes.
It's not confined to just a few interstate highways?
No, it happens on all of them. From Florida, the coast, Maine, out to California, wherever tourists do go.
To investigate whether or not tourist rip-offs are widespread, 60 Minutes took a trip along Georgia's I-75, the interstate Northerners must take to reach Florida. Posing as tourists were 60 Minutes producer Steve Glauber, along with Carol Graves, an employee of the Georgia Consumer Agency, and her son Matthew. But first we went to Bob Hawkins, a highly trained, certified mechanic who inspected the car to make sure all parts were in perfect operating condition. We also went for some advice to Rick Matisiak, a Georgia state investigator specializing in auto frauds. He warned us that even experienced investigators have trouble not tipping off unscrupulous operators.
Some of the documented cars that we have sent in on different occasions, that they would pick us apart and actually saying how ignorant we were. Bolts and the license plates were brand new, something that you don't normally think about. Even on the lug nuts, if the tires have been changed recently, we'll put them on notice. Thumbprints on hubcaps. So anything that doesn't look right, they'll stay away from.
So Bob Hawkins gave our car the necessary touches.
We run it through the mud and got mud all underneath. We dirtied up the tires and also it would look like it had been on the road. We used out-of-state plates and we dirtied up the plates and everything to make them look like they had been on the road for a good length of time, and you had a bunch of road film and such as that on them.
The shock absorber trick, how does that work?
The man will have a plastic bottle in his pocket, either in his shirt pocket or in his hip pocket. It's got oil in it. And while he's bending down to check your tires, he'll reach under here and he just squirts oil on the ground, just a small amount. And he'll holler, you know, hey, look, you got oil leaking down here. You got a bad shock. So come in, let me show you. And sure enough, you look under there, you got oil on the ground. So you think you got a bad shock, and he sells you a set of shocks that you don't even need.
Another favorite trick is puncturing tires, better known as honking.
It's what they call a sticker, and it's a device that's very sharp and efficient and quick. You approach the tire, push it in, and pull it out.
So we hit the road. The camera crew followed in a motor van out of which they could film. At the first stop, a Gulf, the service was routine. The second stop was at a Shell station.
Could you please fill it up? And also, check the oil.
A tourist increases his risk if he leaves his car unattended, and that's what we did. What happened next, even our cameraman did not catch until we ran the film slow motion. The attendant is taking a bottle from his pocket and will hide it in his rag. In that bottle is oil. Now he is going to the side of the car furthest away from the station house. And when he bends down, he will be hidden from the passenger's view. Now he is squirting oil onto the shock absorbers. By the time he gets up, there will be an oil puddle on the ground. And when Glauber returns from washing up, he will hear some bad news.
Not going too far, right?
Yes, we are.
Got some brake fluid, something leaking on the front of it.
Something what?
Leaking.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, we're going quite a ways. Uh-huh. What's that, do you think?
Hydraulic oil. Where are you going to? Down to Florida?
Yes, we are, down to Miami.